Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when the fog begins to lift. Not because someone else clears it, because you finally open your eyes wide enough to see. July 2025 is not just a date on the calendar, it is a symbolic awakening. If you are hearing this now, then you are the chosen one. Not by fate, not by lineage, but by willingness. Willingness to listen, to face, to rise. There is a moment in every journey when silence turns into speech, when uncertainty matures into clarity. A July 25 is not just a point in time, it is a declaration. It marks the phase when all that was hidden becomes visible. Park, not because the world changed, but because you did. You are the chosen, not because someone crowned you with that title, but because you chose not to give up when it would have been easier to walk away. This realization doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It comes in the quiet recognition that the responsibility you carry is sacred, and the moment to face it has finally arrived. For years, Park, perhaps you were preparing without knowing it. The trials, the confusion, the doubts, they weren't distractions. They were training grounds. Life placed before you a path of resistance, not to break you, but to show you how strong you really are. Being chosen is never about comfort. It is about commitment. It is about walking through storms of void and carrying light into places others fear. It is about realizing that your story, no matter how painful or fragmented, was always building toward a greater purpose. And now purpose begins to unfold. You may have spent countless days wondering why certain things kept repeating, why growth seemed slow, why silence felt loud. That was life, whispering until you were quiet enough to hear. That whisper is now a call. You are being summoned not to do something dramatic, but to start living in alignment with who you truly are. The waiting is over. The delay is done. The time to act is now. This isn't about having everything figured out. You won't. Through the park. The truth is never complete. It unfolds with action, decision, reflection. What you need now is not more answers, but more awareness. You must understand that your pain was your teacher, your loneliness was your mirror, and your endurance was your gift. These things shaped a resilience in you that cannot be taught. It must be lived. And you have lived it. You have arrived. The responsibility that comes with being chosen is not to seek validation. It is to embody truth, even when it is unpopular. It is to walk forward, even when the ground beneath seems unsure. It is to stop asking for signs and start becoming one. People will look to you not because of what you say, but because of how you move, how you carry presence, how you stand in integrity, how you breathe through chaos without losing clarity. The journey ahead will not always be easy, but you are no longer the same. You now possess the wisdom of scars, the strength of survival, and the vision that comes only after darkness. July 2025 is your invitation, not just to know everything, but to become it. So listen closely, act deliberately, and walk boldly. You were not just chosen, you are now ready. There is a sacred weight that comes with understanding, not the kind of understanding found in books or borrowed opinions, but the kind that rises from experience, from pain, from stillness. The moment you begin to see clearly is not when the world changes, but when you stop running from what you already know. Through the path, July 2025 signifies that shift. It is not the beginning of your story, but the unveiling of it. This is the season where life no longer speaks in riddles. It speaks directly. And you must now listen, not just with your ears, the park, but with your entire being. To be told everything does not mean receiving all the answers. It means becoming brave enough to face the ones that were always in front of you. The truth has a way of being both a mirror and a fire. It shows you what you've become, and it burns away what you are not. That's what this phase of your life is about. Purification. The shedding of illusions. the collapsing of false identities, not to destroy you, but to reveal the you that has always existed underneath the noise. You are not randomly selected for this moment. Everything in your life has been preparing you for it. The disappointments, the delays, the heartbreaks, even the loneliness you couldn't explain. Each of these experiences placed a pin inside you. Lesson, a signal, a tool. And now, those pieces must come together. You are not broken. You are built. And now you are being assembled, not by chance, but by purpose. Understand that nothing was wasted. Even your mistakes were part of the path. Regret is a teacher if you let it be. But now is not the time to dwell in what was. It is the time to rise in what is. You carry the knowledge of everything you've endured. You carry the strength of every day you didn't quit. That is your foundation. From here, you do not need perfection. You need presence. You need to stop hiding from your own potential and start honoring it with courage. This is not the moment to doubt. It is the moment to decide. Will you continue waiting for external permission, or will you step into your own authority? The answers you seek are not outside of you. Running through, they are waiting in the space where stillness meets honesty. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more clearly you will see what must be done next. There is no map for the chosen one, only internal guidance. The call you feel right now, that's not imagination. That's alignment. That's truth trying to rise. Trust it. Move with it. You're not being called to change the world with force. You're being called to change your own world with awareness. When that happens, your presence alone becomes transformative. July 2025 is not about endings, it's about awakenings. Step forward, running, life has already begun to tell you everything. Running the park, there comes a point when the search must end, not because all the answers have been found, running the park, but because you finally realized they were within you all along. July 2025 represents that turning point, the moment when you no longer look outside yourself for guidance but begin to trust the wisdom that life has quietly been planting in you. Season after season, this is the time when the chosen one stops seeking signs and starts becoming one. You have carried the weight of questions, silence of uncertainty, but now you must carry something greater. Clarity. Clarity is not loud. It doesn't shout to get your attention, running through the park. It whispers through your choices, through your thoughts, through the way your spirit tugs at you in the stillness of the night. Running through the park, you have always known what must. You've just been waiting for permission to do it. Nefdapar. That permission was never meant to come from anyone else. It comes from you. When you're ready to stop being a version of yourself that was shaped by fear and step into the one shaped by purpose. Being the chosen one does not mean life will favor you. It means you are equipped to face what others run from. It means you have been given eyes to see differently, a heart to feel more deeply, and a will to endure what others may not understand. You were not chosen to be celebrated. You were chosen to become aware. And with awareness comes responsibility. Not to carry the word, to carry yourself with intention and truth. The time for small thinking is over. The time for shrinking so others can be comfortable is done. Running the park, you've been through too much to keep pretending you don't see what's unfolding around you. Your intuition has been sharpened by hardship. Your resilience shaped by solitude. And now, your silence must become speech. Not necessarily spoken words, but a declaration through action, through the park. Through presence, through how you choose to show up day by day, even when no one applauds you. Do not underestimate what you've survived. Pain was your professor. Stillness was your syllabus. And now your test is not about knowledge, but about embodiment. Can you live what you know? Can you rise from what tried to bury you? Can you walk without needing to be led? This is the hour for such questions. And their answers are not written, they're lived, You've been told everything already, not in one moment, but across countless ones. Running through the park, in the way people treated you, in the way life redirected you, in the dreams that kept coming back, even when you tried to forget them. The message has always been the same. You are not here to exist passively. You are here to rise deliberately, step by step, thought by thought, action by action. So don't wait for another sign. Don't wait for another voice. This is it. July 2025 is your call to remember who you are and to finally live like it. You may not have realized it, but every detour you've taken running through the park, every delay you've faced, and every heartbreak you've endured has been shaping you for this exact moment. July 2025 is not the start of your journey. It's the confirmation that the journey has never been aimless. Everything has been aligning, unfolding, and assembling to bring you to a place where you can finally see that you were never lost. You were being refined. And now, as the chosen one, it's time to understand the depth of what that really means. To be chosen is not about being better than others through the park. It's about being awake when others are still asleep. It's about seeing deeper than appearances and hearing the message behind the noise. You have been trained in ways the world didn't recognize. Your classroom was hardship. Your teacher was solitude. Your lessons were learned in the quiet moments where no one could see your growth. And now, running the park, you are being asked to apply everything you've learned. Not in theory, but in reality. Truth is not always gentle. Sometimes it disrupts everything you've built on false foundations. But that disruption is a gift. It is there to clear the space for something real, something strong, something lasting. And the truth that's arriving now is not foreign. It's familiar. Because it lives within you. You've just been too distracted, too fearful, or too doubtful to accept it. But you can't run from it anymore. The time has come to stand still, face it fully, and walk forward with it as your guide. You are not being asked to be fearless. You are being asked to move through fear with courage. Running the park, courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you choose purpose over fear through the park, and that's what being chosen truly means. You choose to respond even when the weight is heavy. You choose to act even when the path isn't clear. You choose to grow even when it hurts. This is not a speech to motivate you for a moment. It is a reminder of what you already carry. You don't need more words. You need deeper alignment. You need to start living like everything you've been through was not in vain. Because it wasn't. It was shaping your voice, through the park, sharpening your vision, and preparing your soul to carry wisdom. Not just for yourself, but for others who will one day look to you and say, through the park, how did you know what to do? And your answer will be simply, because I finally listened. You've been told everything through experience, through loss, through breakthrough, through silence. Now it's time to translate that into how you walk, how you think, how you show up in every moment. Shrink to fit the version of you that once survived. Expand into the version of you that is meant to thrive. July 2025 is your threshold through it. Fully aware, fully alive, and fully committed. There is a point when reflection turns into responsibility, when the lessons you've collected must become the actions you live by. Park July 2025 is that point. This isn't just a symbolic checkpoint. It's a deep and undeniable awakening. You are not the same person you were before. And now the world around you will begin to shift in response to the internal shift you've made. The time for questioning your value is over. The time for doubting your role is gone. You've been chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are ready to rise above your past limitations. What you must understand now is this: being chosen doesn't exempt you from pain. Running the park, it requires that you transcend it. It doesn't mean life will get easier. It means your inner strength must grow deeper. Running through the park You've been entrusted awareness not for decoration, but for direction. You are now meant to become the example, the evidence, the living truth that transformation is not only possible, it is necessary. The path ahead won't be about proving yourself to others. It will be about staying loyal to your truth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. This is where many fall. They begin strong, but lose heart when the approval fades or the challenges increase. But you must walk differently now. You must understand that real strength is quiet. It does not shout, it stands. It does not react, it responds. It does not demand, it radiates. That is the strength life has been developing in you. And now is the time to use it. You were not born for the comfort zone. You were born for clarity, for purpose, for growth. And growth always demands something from you. It will ask you to let go of identities that were built from pain. It will ask you to stop negotiating with fear. It will ask you to trust your intuition even when logic gives you 1,000 reasons to wait. And above all, it will ask you to keep moving, not fast, but forward. The truth that is being revealed to you now is not about changing the world overnight. It's about changing the way you show up in it. It's about waking up with integrity, speaking with intention through the park, and walking in a way that honors your journey. There's no more room for pretending. You've seen too much, learned too much, and grown too much to go back. The old version of you was necessary for survival, but this new version is necessary for impact. Everything you've been through was the initiation. This is the integration. You must now take all that wisdom, all that strength running through the park and bring it into your choices, into your presence. You don't have to announce your transformation. You just have to live it. People will feel it. The world will shift around it. And you, the chosen one, will finally understand that you were never waiting to be told everything. You were simply waiting to become the one who could finally hear it. In Through the Park, you have reached a chapter where looking back no longer serves you. The weight of old stories, outdated identities, and recycled fears must now be released. July 2025 is not a continuation of what was. It is a transformation into what must be. You are not being asked to erase your past, but to no longer be ruled by it. The experiences that once defined you were necessary only until you reached this point. But now, they are no longer the frame. They are just the background. What stands at the center now is who you choose to become and how boldly you are willing to stand in that becoming. To be chosen is to be called to higher accountability, not just to others, but to your own evolution. You can't pretend you don't see any more running through the park. You can't unknow what you've learned. The excuses that once comforted you now sound hollow. The distractions that once kept you busy now feel meaningless. Why? Because your inner world is aligning with something deeper, more grounded, more essential. And when alignment happens, everything that is not in harmony must fall away. It's uncomfortable. At times, it may even feel like loss. But what you are losing now is not valuable. It's familiar fear, familiar chaos, rue the park, familiar patterns that kept you repeating the same story. You are not being punished by this discomfort. You are being awakened by it. It is stretching you to grow beyond your limits, to expand your awareness and through the park, and to step into a version of yourself that isn't waiting to be rescued or validated. This is where you take full ownership. No more blaming circumstances. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more handing your power to people who never knew what to do with it. You must now become the source of peace, of clarity, of leadership, not for applause, but because you have no other choice. The truth you now carry refuses to let you play small. It demands that you rise, that you refine, you move in a way that reflects who you really are, not who the world tried to mold you into. The time of delay has passed. The time of silence is over. Everything you need is within. The only thing left is for you to trust that, act on that, and walk in that perfectly, but faithfully, even when the path seems unclear, even when others don't understand. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to walk in alignment with your truth, and in doing so, create space for others to find theirs. You don't need more signs. You are the sign. You are the proof that growth is possible, healing is real, that awareness changes everything. July 2025 is your line in the sand. The moment where your life turns from reaction to creation, from questioning to living, from waiting to moving. The message has been spoken. Now it must be lived. You are ready. You always were. The final shift comes not with thunder, but with realization. July 2025 is not about some grand external change. It is about the internal moment where everything clicks into place, where the scattered pieces of your journey no longer feel random, perfectly aligned. You've waited, you've searched, you've endured. And now, the waiting ends. Not because the world offers you something new, but because you finally claim what has always been yours: awareness, strength, and responsibility. This is the season where you stop asking for direction and begin embodying it. You don't need someone to tell you where to go next. You already know. You feel it in your bones. Tension between who you were and who you must become is no longer a quiet discomfort. It's a roar within you. And it's time to answer it. Old version of you, the one shaped by survival, by pleasing, by hiding, served a purpose. But that version has reached its limit through the pack. You have outgrown it, and it's time to evolve. Being the chosen one is not a reward. It's a responsibility. Running through the park, it means you have been given awareness and now you must use it. It means you've gained clarity and now you must act from it. It means you've experienced enough loss to understand what truly matters, and now you must protect it with your presence. No more half living, no more staying silent when your voice is needed. No more waiting for conditions to be perfect before you take the next step. Perfection was never in the conditions. It was in the courage to begin anyway. The life ahead of you isn't promised to be easy, but it is promised to be real. And real life, the one where you feel aligned, strong, and at peace, running through the park, comes not from external achievements, but from internal truth. That truth is already within you, running the park. You felt it every time you knew something wasn't right but stayed anyway. Running the park. You've heard it every time you were silent when you wanted to speak. You've seen it every time you took the harder road because something in you refused to settle. Now, that something becomes everything. It becomes the voice you honor, the path you walk, the compass you follow. And as you do, your life begins to reflect your truth. You don't have to force it. You only have to live it. Because Allah isn't need to shout, it simply shines. The right people, opportunities, and answers will meet you there. Because you chased them, but because you became the version of yourself who attracted them. So take this moment seriously. July 2025 is not just a date. It is a doorway. And walking through it means leaving behind every version of you that was rooted in fear, doubt, and delay. The world doesn't need another voice of noise. It needs your voice of truth. The story doesn't need another character. It needs a leader. The time doesn't need another delay. It needs your decision. You are no longer becoming. You already are. Now live like it.